Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to today's Sufi teachings. This Sufi teaching series we call Community Connection occurs on the first Sunday of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It is organized and underwritten by Sufi Center Minnesota with the intention of making the Sufi teachings of peace, love, mercy, justice, freedom, and beauty available to people everywhere. We acknowledge that the land Sufi Center is located on is the traditional and ancestral homeland of the Dakota and Mdewakanton tribes. Sufi Center Minnesota recognizes and respects the enduring relationship that exists between many indigenous peoples and their traditional homelands. We are excited and grateful to have Fatoun Ali with us today. Fatoun landed on American soil in 1998 as a native of Somalia and a survivor of a Kenyan refugee camp. She was married, uneducated, and pregnant with a child who eventually died at 4 months from muscular dystrophy. Regardless of these challenges, Fatoun had a strong desire to create a better life for her family and her community, and has devoted her work since the death of her child to caring for and empowering immigrant families. Like the millions of immigrants who came before her, Fatoun knew that her path to achieving success would come through education and hard work. In the ensuing 20 years, she has learned English, earned an Associate of Arts degree, pursued entrepreneurial endeavors, operated a home healthcare agency, and started a nonprofit organization. Now a single mom, raising 4 children, Fatoun wears many hijabs. She is the executive director of the Somali Youth and Family Development Center, a realtor, a financial educator, a small business owner, and a mentor to young girls, always focused on empowering Somali refugees and immigrants to make a better life in Minnesota. Most importantly, Fatoun serves as a bridge between the vibrant culture of her native land and the America she now embraces as her home. She works with educators, social workers, housing agencies, nonprofits, and community members to teach Somali culture and history, particularly the traumas associated with being refugees from a war-torn country, unsure of who they are and where they belong in the world. Fatoun strives every day to make forward progress on her vision of nurturing and building a vibrant, healthy, prosperous, and safe Somali community in Minnesota. Her teaching today is the Islam I grew up with and the Islam I am learning now. Fatoun, we are so happy to have you with us. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wherever you are in the world, my salams to you guys. My name is Fatoun Ali, as Pat brother Abdullah said. I am from Somalia. I was born and raised in Somalia before the civil war broke. Growing up for me was very challenging, as I haven't seen my mom until I was 7 years old. I was raised by my aunties and my mother's family, after my mother's side of the family. My aunties were teenagers themselves. I grew up in an orchard where there was growing a lot of fruits and vegetables. My mom's mother and father were businessmen and women. They both worked. My mom did the import-export of the fruits and vegetables to neighboring countries. And I grew up wandering around the orchard until I was age 7, where my mom came back into my life when she remarried and took me and my younger 2 brothers with her. And life became very challenging and even worse than before. My mom was married to a military man who was already married to another woman, so she was the second wife. And life was really hard. And because of the hardship, I was not schooled. I was my mom's assistant, taking care of my siblings and learning how to cook and clean from the age 7 until the Civil War broke. And I never went to school, Islamic school, on academic. And I remember one time my mom decided to take me to Islamic studies, which was cross street from us. And literally what I have experienced at that day tortured me. And I had to save myself and run. The teacher was physically abusing the kids. And that was a way for the kids to learn and memorize the Quran without learning the meaning of the Quran, and also explanation. They learn the alphabet and then they memorize the Quran, the whole 114 chapters of the Quran. And that day, the teacher was trying to ask me questions about what he was teaching me. I didn't know. So instead of getting help, he started physically beating me up and asking other students to joining him to beat me up. I had to run as fast as I can and scream as fast as I can, and went to my auntie's house, and she saved me. And then I never went back to school, Duxis again. And then the Civil War broke. And the second memory is going back to Djibouti. When we came to Djibouti, my mom told me she's going to take me back to Duxi. And it was really hard because it was another abuse, a different kind of abuse. And I had to save myself at that time. And the Islam that I grew up was all about memorizing the Quran without learning the meaning of it, learning phrases that you're not familiar with, and doing Islamic studies. And it was really hard how I can memorize something that we don't know. And I remember watching and my siblings trying to memorize Quran without understanding the meaning of it. And when I came to back home, I remember people saying, like, if you don't pray, if you don't do this, you're going to hell. And if you don't follow instructions, you're going to hell. If you don't obey your parents, you're going to hell. If you don't pray a certain way, you're going to hell. And it was just a terrifying, scary things that I heard all the time, and I'm hearing all the time. And I came to America without knowing how to pray, how to read, didn't understand the language, didn't speak Arabic or Somali or English, didn't know how to write and read in any language, including my own Somali language, because I never went to school back home. And coming to America and learning English and then going to college. And one of the courses that I took was a world history course. And it was talking about Islamic religion and other religions. And I learned my own religion, how it has empowered women and how it got involved. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was helping spreading the religion in different areas of the world, and how beautiful religion it was, and advocating for women. And I was like, is this the religion I grew up with? Is this the religion that people were, using to make it feel like it was terrible, scaring people? And I wasn't the only one. Even the ones that were forced and stayed there and learned how to write and how to memorize didn't understand the meaning of it, the love for it, the appreciation for it, and the richness of it. And it's a guide of daily living, prayers, giving, loving, caring, supporting, advocating for women. I had to really think about, as these two different religions, you know? No, it wasn't. It was the same religion, the same prophet, the same Quran, the same words and everything. But the harshment that I grew up with, it wasn't the good experience that I had. I had to learn myself. After that, I learned to appreciate my religion. I learned to seek more information about it. I had to teach myself how to do wudu, how to pray, how to do dhikr. And meanwhile, I'm still in my 20s, having babies, and I'm thinking, in my 30s, actually, at that time, it was in my 30s, having kids and raising them, taking them Duxi, making sure with Duxi is the right Islamic studies for them and the weekends. What are they learning? How are they being treated? Being there. And even here in Minnesota, there's masjids and mosques that still carry that tradition from back home, where they force the kids memorize or physically beat them up. And I had to choose with masks. It's not doing that. And telling the teachers literally, you cannot touch my child and you cannot force my child. They're here to learn the beautiful religion that we have. And you guys have to treat the kids and teach the kids how to love the religion, how to appreciate the religion, how to fall in love with the religion, and how to have fun with it. Because you can't force a child if they don't want to learn. But if you make fun activities and then make them fall in love with the religion, and they can learn much more than you expected. So it still happens here, but I choose to pay attention. And as mothers in the community, we look for the right schools because of cultural reasons, men dominating religion, Somali culture having a difficult, men powering, overpowering women in the mosques. We fight. We really literally fight to find the right duxi for our kids. And sometimes we don't take them. We don't take our kids. Or, for example, 1 year ago, me and a friend of mine find a school, a duxi, that girls were being taught by girls, women, and boys were being taught by women. And for so many different reasons, I chose to take my daughter to the girls' class. And she was a young woman who went to Stuxi here, went to Islamic studies here. And the experience she had growing up, she did not like it at all. So she wanted, as an adult, as a young woman, she wanted to make a difference and make Duxi fun and make Islamic studies fun and have activities with the girls. And my daughter, who is 12, loved it. She loved the Duxi. She loved the teacher. There was always fun activities and fun competition and field trips and all of that. But at the same time, having men dominating the mosque, they destroy that glass for us and sold it to another man who is doing something else within that. So it's sad that we don't have that and we lost that glass for our daughter. But at the same time, we have the opportunity to learn the Islamic religion through translation. You can find the Quran in Arabic, in Somali, in Arabic, which was the original one, and then Somali. I don't speak Somali. I cannot read or write Somali, but I can speak my own language. But then English and translation, where there's the hadiths and there's the Quran and there's other lectures and there's other imams and there's scholars all over the world that have depth knowledge of Islam that I extremely value and appreciate, and I learn my own religion from other non-Somali Muslims. And learning, getting to know Pat, brother Abdul, working with Abdul, learning that he's a Muslim, and different types of Muslims, Sufi, peaceful, and love and appreciation. I wanted to learn more, and he has invited me to the Sufi Center in Minnesota, and also workshops that the Sufi Center had, and learning more about Sufi is a different level for me, which my heart feels more content and peace and welcoming. So I am a woman who was born Muslim and raised in Somalia, mostly 99% Muslim, but at the same time, the religion that we were being forced and or taught or people lived in was a religion of fear and scary and terrifying to so many women, and because they don't understand the Quran, they didn't understand or we don't understand the meaning of Arabic, the translation of it, the depth of it. So I know my mother, my aunties, a lot of women in my age and older are struggling and sometimes manipulated and harmed, and because they think what is they are told is the right thing. And I know through reading in Arabic and reading in English, reading the Quran in English, and listening to very well-educated scholars and listening to the lectures and reading chapter after chapter, surah after surah, phrase after phrase, in the Quran, there's no way, the way we in our community, my community especially, how men treat our women is not right, or how they misuse power is not right. So I face a lot, and sometimes I have to hold back and step back a little bit because I don't want to cause issues or problems. But I'm glad and I'm happy to be here in America and to learn Islam the way it is and the power it has and how much it advocates for women and how it's a religion of peace and love and mercy, which my Somali community doesn't talk about it. It's all about the other side, the fear, hell, and scary, and all of that. So I am very grateful to have been here and learned this on my own and researched on my own. And I had always, everything I see, I question, why is this? Is this right? Why are people treating this, or why people are doing this? So I will always question things, and I will always try to find answers, whether it's Google, YouTube, other scholars, other books, hadith, the explanation of the reason. And one of the things that I'm extremely happy about is I can get that and here, and I have gained and learned a lot about Islam, and I'm in peace with it, that God only knows my heart, and I'm doing my best, and I'm teaching my children to be kind people, to be loving people, to work hard, to have work ethics, to do their best, to be kind. And with all of that, doing it from your heart and knowing that you're doing the right thing, God is not cruel, and He's not going to take you to hell. And Islam is a world, and it's um, religion of peace and love. And I have learned a lot through doing my own education on my part, and buying so many different things. And one of the books that I really love is Why Me, from Omar Sulaiman. And he wrote a book, which I have it here. Sorry. One of the books that I have, it's called Angels, Angels in My Presence, in Your Presence. And the other one is Why Me? Why did God choose me? And it's very interesting how a lot of, when I work with my Somali women, they think their purpose is to be a woman and to have to be wives and to have children, and that's something that you're not required. You're here for a purpose as a woman. You're here for a purpose, for a reason. God has chosen you to be here, whether it's a wish or a prayer from your parents or great parents or generations and generations ago. You're here for a purpose, and you're here to do something. But people don't ask themselves why they're here. What is their purpose? You can be a mother, you can be a father, you can be a teacher, you can be an educator, you can have any kind of degrees or any kind of, but deep down inside, who are you and what is your purpose? And when I found that, it was a wake-up call for me. It was a wake-up call for me. And I always knew there was something different about me. Maybe how I grew up, how I was as a child, I was discriminated because in Somalia, there is a tribal thing, tribal system. So my mom is a different tribe, my dad is a different tribe, and within those two tribes, we were the minorities of the Somali tribes. And since my dad was a different tribe, I was treated different from my uncles, my cousins, and my aunties. because I was a different tribe. And because they treated me different than my cousins, I felt outsider. And they made me feel outsider. And they treated me as an outsider. So I had to, I felt I needed to protect myself. I was alone. And I had to learn so much on my own. And I didn't have the privilege of having a loving mother and a supportive father. I have never seen my dad. I talked to him. He lives in another country. He left me as when I was a baby, and it was just didn't have that. So not feeling fit in within my own community, within my own family, I knew I was different. And then I had this heart that loves people. I love people and I care about people, and I want people to have a successful life, and I want people to be in peace with themselves. And I had to learn that myself. You know, I had to go outside my community to find the peace, the love, the acceptance, the calmness, the appreciation, all of that. I had to learn it while raising kids, going to school, working, and just meeting Brother Abdul has changed my life tremendously. And I am who I am today because people that didn't look like me, didn't speak the same language as me, didn't come from the same country, and even did not have the same religion as me, has helped me, supported me emotionally, financially, and mentally. And as a mother of 4 kids now, I'm happy with who I am. You know, I am a writer. I write my stories. Um, I express my feelings. I don't hold back. Um, I always look for justice and peace and help as many people that I can while I'm here on this earth and living and breathing. I want to educate my own community how to have a stability, how to be kind, how to find yourself. And as a community, as an immigrant, we have been through a lot. Civil war, refugee camp, coming to a new country, learning new language, trying to raise multiple children, divorces, mental health, depression, you name it, we have it all. And for me to be calm and collected, I had to go through so much emotional roller coaster, divorces, domestic abuse, financial difficulty, and so much, much more. And at this time, with all my experience and difficult time in life, I don't want any immigrant women or Muslim women or Black women or any human being struggle. And so the best thing that I could do for people is just tell my story and how I survived and finding who they are. And maybe if my story helps one person, I'm happy with that. If it helps a woman who struggles, I'm happy with that. I had an interview a couple of months ago, and it went viral. It's in Somali, it's not in English. And I'm getting so many phone calls about women who are physically being abused, domestic abuse. And I told my story how my ex-husband left me for dead. And that story, and for me opening up and his behavior of throughout our marriage, some of them said, I am living with the man you're talking about, not the same man, but the same behavior. How do I get out? What do I do? And the describing of, mentally gone, physically here, emotionally supporting, and threatening, and manipulation, and all of those things. So the topic today is not about domestic abuse or the hardship or the immigrant community. It's all about my experience about Islam, which I'm coming back. Sorry about the destruction of that. And the way I love it, I fall in love with my own religion is because I had to learn my own and find my own, uh, going to college and taking world language. That opened my mind. How Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the messenger of God, spread the Islam and what it means and how it's a guide, that we can live through day by day, night, day, evening, afternoon, 5 times prayers, the dhikr, giving, zakah, going to Hajj, all of those things. It's a beautiful thing. And every question you have, there's an answer to it. Now that I'm much, much older and learned so much about Islam, I feel peace and content that I have never felt before. Because the anxiousness of being scared of going to hell is a scary thing as a child, as a young woman, as a young adult. It's a very scary thing, and it's a terrifying thing that every single thing that happens, you're going to hell if you don't do it the right way, but you don't know what the right way is, you know? So I'm open to questions. Any question that you guys can think up, or if you want to ask questions, I'm here to answer as much as I can.
So if you'd like to ask a question or make a comment, just raise your hand. So Fatoun and I work together, and some years back, I had been reading the book by A. Helwa, Secrets of the Divine Love. And some of you who are here today or watching this may be familiar with that book, but it's an exposition of Islam from a Sufi perspective. And it's very different than many books that are written about the religion. So I walked back to Fatoun's desk one day and I put a copy of the book on her desk and I said to her, here, you might be interested in this book. So I just laid it there and left it at that. And a couple weeks later, she comes back, she walks into my office and she says, you know that book you gave me? Where can I get more copies?
Yeah.
You shared that with your sisters, yes?
Absolutely, I did. I did. I was like, this is the book that we need to read. The ones that can read in English. I bought a few books. I even asked Pat to connect me to the author, and he did. We spoke, and she gave me on some additional books, and we did a book club about it. And I not only give them my Somali women, but my women interfaith group, which some of you know about, and they read the book. So, I have it here in my office, and I have one at home.
Good. Dawood and Karima have a question. Please unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for sharing your story. Um, I got into Islam because I wasn't finding uh, a satisfying path in a different religion that I was raised with. I was wondering, since Islam was so traumatic for you as a child, did you ever think of pursuing a different religion? Or what kept you on the Islamic path, basically?
I didn't even have the opportunity to look for another religion, or that thought did not even come to me. in my heart, I knew there was the religion that people are make me feel terrified. I don't think it was the right religion. In my heart, I was just following my heart. There has to be God is not that cruel. Allah is not that cruel. If I haven't done anything bad in this life, why would he take me to hell? What have I done to deserve that? So I will question that, and I will just live, like if it meant to for me, because I'm living and it's existing, I'm going to go to hell. Well, God, you created me, so you take me there. So I never thought about pursuing Christianity or any other religion, even though a lot of people came to, even I went to church. They took, and I remember I had a brother, Abdul shared that I had a child who died of muscular dystrophy. When my daughter died, the nurse took me to a church. She kept pressuring me. I was like, okay, fine, I will go with you. So I went to the church, and it was an African American church. Hallelujah, yelling and screaming and jumping, and I'm like wondering where I was. This is what kind of religion are they practicing? Jesus, hallelujah. I was, jumping and screaming and dancing, and I was like, no, this is not. And then, I went to other churches, Catholic churches and Lutheran social services and even churches. And I never in my head wanted to convert into any religion. I went there with people. I created friends. I have friends from all over the world and all walks of life. And I never thought of, converting to any other religion. Islam was in my heart always.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dawood.
Okay.
Any other questions? Please raise your hand, or comments, or something you'd like to share with all of us.
And one other thing that I would like to share is, the things that I really fall in love with the Quran Islam is even how it talks about, alcohol, and how it talks about eating food in different portion for your health, and the exercise that we do daily, how it's a physical body movement for us, and the pork, and so many different things. When you look at it, and even in science, those things are really like, wow, Islam came just 1400 years ago, and Allah has put everything in this book before anything else, and it's right there. If you want to live healthy, if you want to sleep, take nutrition, sleep, it talks about everything. So yeah, I'm here to answer any questions that you guys have or
Yeah.
comments.
Questions, comments, sharing. Amal, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
I think I just wanted to thank you. This is your story is so powerful, and I'm reflecting on so many things. Partly how it's so amazing, that having experienced such harmful, e- aspects of maybe the cultural or the other ways that Islam was first brought to you. It's just so beautiful to feel how the light of the beauty of it lived in you, and the journey of finding it in this way. And it makes me feel so grateful and privileged for, for the way that I was able to connect with that same beauty. Maybe a question I'm curious about is, you seem to know the love so clearly. Do you have a sense of where, through all the hardship, was that connection to the love there for you as a child, or is that like, where did you, what's the story about the love for you?
The love is something that I felt within, you know, it was inside of me. There was always, I remember falling asleep as a 4 years old. I was 4 years old and I fall asleep and outside the house. It was really hot. And I remember in a deep, deep sleep, somebody woke me up, wake up, wake up, wake up. And I was startled and I woke up. It was extremely hot. The left side the sun burned. The sun burned me on the left side. And right here, it was in the sand, and I had, dimples, and it was just really hot. I had no strength to get up and walk. So I crawled and to find a shade. And it was an angel that told me to get up, to wake up, because there was nobody around me. The loudness, and that woke me up. And from there on, somebody was with me. I had angels always. Somebody was always leading me. No matter how hardship life was for me, something was telling me this, whatever you're going through and whatever you're experiencing, has nothing to do. It's something that you're going through. Be patient, you know. And somebody was always telling me to be conscious. Like I will walk into a room full of people, and something will tell me, get out, get out. This is not your place. So I will listen to that voice and walk away. If I'm going through really hardship, something within me will tell me just stay calm, and this will pass. This shall pass. And I just followed that instinct and that love. I knew my heart was full of love, and I don't know where that nourishment came from, because I didn't get from my mother, I didn't get from my dad, I didn't get from my community, and I didn't get from my husbands. But I learned to love and give love and receive love from the people that really give me and really want to be in my life. And coming to Minnesota and beat up from the neck up, my ex-husband beat me up from the neck up and left me for dead. It was a wake-up call. If you want to survive for your kids and get out. And I did the decision I made, and I moved to Minnesota. And I went to a therapist. I went to a doctor first. And the doctor told me, you're depressed, you're sad, you're lonely. And I have two options for you: medicine to make you more relaxed and sleep, or therapy. And I never knew what therapy was. And I was like, what is therapy? And she explained it to me, and I chose therapy over medicine. And I told the doctor, I want to be alert. I want to be awake for my two children, my older two now. And she said, okay, go to therapy. And the therapist, she listened to me, and her answers were, well, there's a child within you that is 5 years old and needs mother's love, that needs affection, affirmation, validation, nourishment. And what you can do for yourself is nurture that child within you that 5-year-old inside of you through your kids. So whatever you were seeking and you were missing, love your kids. Give them hugs and kisses and carols and the love that you never received, and get that from them in return. So you're nurturing that child within you through your kids. And that's what I took. And not only did I nurture my soul, but I built a deep connection with my own kids, which now that they're my life and they're my world. Yeah. So that love is just something deeper that God only knows where it comes from.
Anyone else that would, anyone else that would like to ask a question, make a comment, offer a reflection?
Any question, don't be shy. I'm here to answer any question.
Latifa, your hand is up. Did you? Yeah, unmute yourself, Latifa.
Okay. Yeah, Fatoun, I was wondering, with all your exploring and all the changes in the work you've done in this area, have you found a mosque that you can go to and feel comfortable for regular attendance and that sort of thing?
Yes, there's one mosque. I have explored so many mosques, and there was no one that I felt comfortable before finding Sufi Center. It was Al Noor Masjid in North Minneapolis.
Okay.
That was the first mosque I ever felt comfortable, felt welcomed, and my heart said, this is where you belong. It was Al Noor Mosque in North Minneapolis.
Okay, right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The mosques in the Twin Cities tend to be organized by cultural groups, Somali or Pakistani or whatever it might be. Masjid an-Nur has a diverse congregation, and I don't know if they're unique, but they're very unusual in the Twin Cities area in that there's one prayer room. Typical mosque in Twin Cities would have a separate room for women. So the women would be literally in a different room than the men are, usually, not always. But Masjid an-Nur prays the way that our Sufi community is accustomed to praying, with one room, everyone in that room, with the men in the front and the women behind the men. And it's also the mosque that Keith Ellison attends. It's the imam of that mosque is really a wonderful, wonderful man.
And that's the reason that I go there. It's very diverse, very diverse. You can see people from all over the world, and it's just, you sit there and you see everybody. You see everybody while you're sitting there. Different ages, different background, different religion, different degrees. There is everybody, grandmothers, babies. It's just a beautiful thing.
Wow.
Any other questions or comments?
Did you have more, Latifa, or are you complete?
Oh, no, I'm fine. Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Telephone area code 512 is unmuted. Did you want to ask a question?
Yes, Abdul Hafiz. Thank you for the beautiful teaching. It's very touched all our hearts so deeply. And was wondering what the condition of the Somalian women is at this time.
Somali women, and being in America, the younger generation in under 40 are learning a lot and learning the English language learning the Islam, their mothers were not taught. They're having questions, they're having more of a understanding of the Islam and the religion. And so even the men are treating and being different because they're learning here, younger men in their 30s and 20s, and people are more understanding of the way certain mosques or certain group of people back home, their teachings is not the right way. And I know a lot of people were terrified, but even the younger girls are more questioning a lot. Why is this? For example, a lot of men claim to say, oh, we're allowed to marry up to 4 wives. And then they said, okay, what's the reason for? Give me the reason you're getting married, or what's the requirement? What's the obligation? Can you afford? Can you be committed? Like they have more of understanding of Islam, where women were really treated special and in the religion, and they were provided for, and they were cared for, and they were respected, and their ideas were valued, and they were allowed to get education. They were allowed to start businesses. They were allowed to have positions in different fields. And the more they learn, the more they're really having a voice. So there's a lot of education that younger women have more knowledge of the Islam than their parents, their mothers. Did I answer your question?
Yes, that's
Okay.
yes. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Rahima, did you want to?
Yeah. Fatoun, I know you're working with now with the young men in the community as well as the young women. Can you say a little about what brought you to doing that part of your work, and what are the biggest issues for the young men?
I'm doing this because it's the need. I've been doing the Girls Taking Action mentorship for the last 12 years, and the last 8 of that we're doing in a school, after school program. And young man always ask me, why don't you do one for the boys? Why don't you do one for the boys? And of course, I'm not a man, so I couldn't do it. It's like, okay, I will find somebody. And finally, we found a volunteer 2 years ago, and trying to do the same curriculum, but catered to boys. And we ask questions, and I'm a mother of boys, so I find resources for the boys. And because of so many different reasons, boys are falling apart more than girls because they don't have that guardianship or the role models they're looking for or the father figure that they need. So it was only time to speak up and do something about what is happening in the community, especially with young boys. And finding that volunteer, and now that I have 2 and having other programs, finding space for them to come and socialize, helping them to do resume building, finding the mentors and activities that they can be included, it's really important. So it was coming from the boys asking me to do something, and I had to find someone that they can look up to. And for me, I was always there for them when they need, or we have a class, or having just coming together and eating a pizza after school. It was fun. Yeah.
Thank you. So that will help the girls have some boys that they can be with down
Oh
there.
yeah. Yeah, that's another big topic huge that there's the struggle. There's a gap where we have more educated women than educated boys, and it's a huge, and it's a disaster.
Young, I see that you are unmuted. Did you want to ask a question?
Yeah, I have a question. My name is Young Ali, and I'm from South Korea, and I have a problem. Still have a problem. Adapt myself to the the American society. Anyhow, as far my question is, even in Turkey, there are the Islam don't like Sufi. So I'm not sure, the recent years or days, so I heard, so many Sufi group or Sufi people hide under the society or the ground to get together because the Islam people suppress their, existence and their teachings. And how about the Somali? The Sufi people, the Islam people don't like Sufi. That's the first question.
I have seen, and there's few Sufi Somali run mosques. I do enjoy going to Somali Sufi mosques, and there's at least 3 that I know in Minneapolis. And on Fridays they come together and have so much fun and food and activities for the women, and other Somali, they know it's a Sufi program and it's a Sufi mosques, and I never seen any issues or any problems with other Muslims knowing that this is a Sufi run mosques. And the imams get together, they all do their own things, women do their own things. All the Muslim in Minnesota, if they're around the Sufi mosque, they go and pray no matter what. So I don't see any issues. I haven't seen any issues here or back home when I was young. I remember Sufis now, because they were playing the drums and celebrating Prophet Muhammad's birthday, and a lot of young people really were excited about that, but there was no any tensions or problems that Muslims within they had a problem or issues with.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your answer. Another question is in the mosque. I'm not sure now, but in the mosque, the male and female is, are separated. Still, that's from the, the culture, because of the culture, or that's the, expression of the man is above the female. That's the question.
I don't know how to answer that question, but I know most of the mosques, most of them, or there's only one mosque that men and women pray in the same area, Masjid al-Noor, but the rest of them, whether it's Sufi or other Muslims, they have that separation: men in one area, women in in one area, because of gender reasons. And I don't know why that is yet, and that's something maybe for me to learn more about. But I know that Masjid al-Noor have that big space when people just gather there and talk even before the prayers start.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Young. So, Fatoun, we're at time. Is there anything, final words you'd like to leave with everyone today?
Absolutely. Just know that your search of your religion, Allah has brought us all here, and I believe Allah has created all different religions for a purpose, and we're all Allah has created us and sent different prophets in different times and purposes. And Islam is a beautifully put together, and it's a guide to your life. And know that with finding peace within you, that's all you can do by reading and praying and meditating and giving and, just doing good. Just do good and do your best and love yourself and respect yourself and appreciate who you are as a person. If you don't appreciate yourself and if you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody else. And the first love comes in your heart. You have to find yourself and have peace with yourself. And Allah knows. Leave everything else to Allah's hands. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Fatoun.